Hello and welcome to part 2 of VPC Hands-on Lab. In this session, we will create this infrastructure that we see on the screen right now. That is one custom VPC with this CIDR, two subnets with the CIDR that we see here, and one default route table will be created, and we'll create additional custom route table which will have an entry to internet gateway. Hence, we need an internet gateway. And ultimately, we will also create an EC2 instance, which we will place in the public subnet and see if it has public IP and if it can act as a web server. That is, if it can have internet access. All right, great. So let us get going with this. On VPC, let us click on Create VPC. Let us give it a name, Custom VPC. The CIDR range is 10.0.0.0/16. Let us keep everything as it is. VPC is created. Let us go to subnets. These are the default VPC default subnets. Let us create two subnets for our custom VPC. Okay. Let's call it public subnet, the first one. What is the IP range that we have decided for public subnet? Okay. 10.0.1.0. 10.0.1.0/24. Okay. Availability zone, we can keep it as no preference, or we can select, okay, let us select AP South 1. So availability zones are, so regions are divided into multiple availability zones. So they are very conceptual, and we are not going into the concept of regions and availability zone in this course. And I think we'll be good with this. All right, create subnet. Let us create another subnet for the custom VPC. Let us call it private subnet. The availability zone is 1B. So these availability zones are different geographic areas in a region. Okay. And yeah, CIDR block. So I think 10.0.0.0/24 is what we had decided for this. Yeah, 10.0.0.0/24. Let us keep everything as it is. Done. Great. Now, we have created the VPC, two subnets. And when we had created the VPC, the default route table was created with this entry. You want to check this? Let us go ahead and check this. Yes. This is it. So this is the default route table for default VPC. This is the default route table for custom VPC. Let us give it a name. Default route table, custom VPC. Okay. Great. We will need another route table which will have this entry for internet gateway. Let us create this while we are on this window. Create route table. Custom route table, custom VPC. The VPC is custom VPC. Great. So custom route table and default route table. Now, we will see the entries that we have in them. But before that, we need the internet gateway. So let us first have all the components. And when we create the internet gateway, at the same time, we will associate it with the VPC that we have created, custom VPC. So internet gateways, this is the default VPC's internet gateway. So create our own internet gateway. So custom VPC internet gateway. Great. Create internet gateway. And now that we have created it, we need to attach it to the VPC. Yes. This is our custom. Yeah, this is our custom VPC. So far, we have all the components in place. Now configuration is needed. We have the VPC created, 2 subnets created. The main route table was created along with VPC creation, and custom route table we have created, an internet gateway we have already created and associated with the VPC. Now let us take a look at entries in the route table. Default route table. What is the entry it has? It has only one entry. That is, it allows any access within the VPC. Custom route table also has the same entry. Okay. Another very important thing to note, which is only applicable to default route table. So default route table, and this concept is very important because it again goes towards what we have been talking about, that route tables are associated with subnets, and through the entries in the route table, they decide the outgoing traffic of instances within that subnet. So the subnet association is for the default route table, a default route table of custom VPC. The following subnets have not been explicitly associated with any route tables and are therefore associated with the main route table. Okay. So even if we have not explicitly associated these 2 subnets with any route table, the by default nature is for them to be associated with the default route table. So these 2 subnets are by default associated with this main route table unless the custom route table that we have created is specifically associated with the new route table, with the with one of these subnets. Okay, great. So why don't we do it while we are on this screen? Let us go to custom route table. Okay, and there is no subnet association. No subnet association. These are 2 subnets that are associated with the main route table. This one. And we need to associate the custom route table with the public subnet. Although the subnet is not technically public as of now, we will see how we can make it public. So, edit subnet association, public subnet, save, and that's it. Here you go. So your custom route table is associated with the public subnet. Now, how will you make the subnet public? Because there is no difference between your custom route table and your main route table in terms of entries. They both have just this entry. That is traffic within the VPC. So how can custom route table differentiate from the main route table as far as going out of the VPC is concerned, internet traffic is concerned? For that, click on Edit Routes, add a route. So whenever the route is to the internet, which is any other IP address apart from the IP address of VPC, any other IP address, the target is internet gateway. This internet gateway. So any traffic going for any other IP address apart from this IP address, if this is the destination, that is internet is the destination, the target is the internet gateway. Okay. This is the way out of VPC into internet. Save route. Now by doing this, this route table has an entry for internet connection, and hence this is a public route table, and hence the subnet associated with it is a public subnet. That's how I have always seen it, and that's true as well, right? So this subnet, public subnet, now has become a public subnet. But there's still one more thing to do, all right? And that is, this can only be a public subnet if public IPs can be assigned to EC2 instances or compute instances that are created in this subnet. For that, let us see, there's a setting. And that setting says auto assign public IP v4. Okay. It says no for both the subnets that we have created. So it is yes only for these three. That is, auto assign public IP is yes only for default subnets, not for any custom subnet. So one of our subnets which has to assign public IP, which is public subnet, has to have this entry as yes, otherwise it will not assign public IP and hence our purpose will be defeated. So we have already selected this. In Actions, click Modify Auto Assign IP Settings, enable Auto Assign Public IPv4 address, save, and now you have made this subnet to auto assign public IP address. Now it is truly a public subnet. So to make a subnet public subnet, the first step is associate it with a route table that has an entry out to the internet. Okay, this. And second, it has to have auto assign public IPv4 address as yes. Now we have a truly public subnet and a private subnet as well. Now in next session, what we will do is we will create two EC2 instances, one in private subnet, one in public subnet, and we will see the behavior. All right, great. So thank you and looking forward to seeing you in the next session.